Hello everybody, this is Jason here. Today's date is April the 6th, 2018. Today I want to talk to you more about my ex-wife. We just recently finalized our divorce just about 3 months ago. It was finalized, and I've been learning a lot about what happened. I was discarded after 25 years of marriage, and and I didn't know what happened. It happened so quickly. She told me she was going to work and she never came back and took my children and everything. Well, she did end up coming back for a time, but I'll discuss that in another video. I really need to make a video describing like the whole timeline so that you guys can understand what happened, and I'll probably do that later today. But right now I just want to discuss part of my healing is, I've watched a lot of videos obviously on YouTube trying to understand what happened, and I've kind of like I mean at first I had no clue, and the way that I found out that she was what I thought was a narcissist. Well, she is a narcissist, but it's deeper than that. I'll explain in just a second. But I described like what I thought, what I just observed happening, and nothing came up. I Googled, and then finally, where I found the word narcissist, because I had never even heard of that word before, was when I described the stare that she gave me. The day before she left, she gave me. I walked up to her in the kitchen and I gave her a hug. She was cooking, and she just looked at me with this weird stare, and it scared me. She didn't say anything. She just stared at me, and as I was holding her, so I let go of her, and I just backed up and left the room. And I was just confused. I just made an excuse to go outside. But I felt, well, I didn't realize, I'm a codependent, so I'm not in touch with my own feelings. And so I was in denial, so I didn't realize that I actually felt fear. And that I was afraid that look just put fear into me. So part of my healing has been so then I found out, she's a narcissist, and then subsequently, recently, in fact, only in the last month, did I realize that she's a full-blown psychopath. A lot of the things I had heard about narcissism really didn't apply to her, and so I kept searching because, well, I binge watched all the narcissism videos, and I was like, yeah, this is it. But deep down, there was something that still wasn't right with what I was hearing about narcissism and what I was observing, what I had observed with her. And so I kind of kept searching, and then I found out psychopath, and I was like, well, what's a psychopath? And when I researched that, it's like, bam, the lights came on, because that's what she is. She's a psychopath. And actually, a psychopath is very different from a narcissist, in my opinion. A narcissist, and again, I'm not going to get deep into that. I'll have to make another video about that. But a narcissist, let's see, how do we say it? We say all psychopaths are narcissists, but all narcissists are not psychopaths. Okay, so psychopaths is an extreme. On the very extreme end of narcissism. And when I looked up, just to give you a clue, or what should have given me a clue actually, is when I looked up narcissism in the DSM manual, they had like 9 criteria for that to determine, and it's like if you have 5 of the 9, you're a narcissist. Well, she had all 9. Okay, and it was just like, I didn't even have to think about it. Number 1, check. Number 2, check. All 9. So it was pretty clear that she was it's obviously that she's on the extreme end of narcissism, which is a psychopath. Okay, so anyway, I'm just gonna quickly go through these. So what part of my healing is I've been looking up images and kind of making notes so that I can, just learn and so that this never happens again, but just to, it's part of the healing process. So these are some pictures that I printed off and I laminated, and because these remind me of her, and then I've made notes, okay, and my notes are not, don't pay too much attention to my notes, because some of these notes were when I thought she was a narcissist, and I made notes. For example, this one says she has insecurity. Well, she really doesn't have insecurity. Psychopaths are not insecure like narcissists are. Okay, so some of these notes, don't take them too seriously, because I made these notes many months back, and I subsequently found out that I was trying to make her fit fully the narcissist thing, because I thought that was all that there was, a narcissist. But actually it goes further than that, and a psychopath is different. Psychopaths are much more dangerous. By the way, so anyway, so I'll just explain to you. So this video here is going to be about how the psychopath, I'm just going to use that term, and maybe some of this goes toward narcissism. I don't know. I'm not researching narcissism anymore, because psychopath is what I found out that she is. But so this video is going to be about the fact that she is not human. I don't know what she is, but what is a human? What makes a person not a human? I don't know. All I know is that what a normal person is, that's not what a psychopath is. There's something missing. Whatever. And I'm a Bible believer, so I have my suspicions, or I don't know, it's not suspicions. I have my ideas about what these people are from the Bible, which I may make a video about sometime. But for right now, I'm just going to go with the idea that they're not human. I want to explore that idea and what gives me that idea. Well, here's a picture of a Japanese robot. Okay, they call these, I think they call them humanoids. And that woman in the front is a robot. And the guy, and it's kind of making it like the guy behind with the computer is controlling her. You see that? And so that picture was very interesting to me. And from a spiritual standpoint, I mean, now that I think about it, it's almost like these people are controlled by the devil. So the guy with the computer, you could think of him as the devil, because these psychopaths are diabolical. All the attributes that Satan has, that's what a psychopath has. Lies, deception, seduction, betrayal, all these kind of things. This is what a psychopath is, and that's what the devil is. So yes, that picture very much reminds me of my wife. I used to tell her toward the end, I used to actually tell her that you're not human, you're a robot. You're a brick wall. You're not human. And also my wife was Asian. My wife was Chinese. So that's why a lot of these images are Chinese, because I want them to I'm choosing images that reflect my wife. This is another image. I printed this off and then I colored it. And of course, I'm sure most of you have heard the idea that there's reptilians among us and that kind of thing. And whether that's true or not, I have no idea. But nevertheless, it fits. My image of her is that she's not human, and this image just, gives you that picture of the diabolical nature that's inside of them, and that's hidden by human skin. You know, they have human skin, but what's underneath is pure demonic. Okay, and here's the Terminator. Okay, and the Terminator robot from the movie Terminator. Again, that very much reminds me of my wife. If you look at them, if you look at how a psychopath interacts with people, it's like, again, it's like they're controlled by Satan, because it's like they have one purpose, and that's to destroy good people. And usually it's people that are are either have already turned to God, the God of the Bible, or it's people that are going to turn to God. So it's like they're there to sabotage people who are going to be saved, who are saved, or who are going to be saved. It seems to be their designed purpose in life. I myself got saved just shortly after I got married to her. And when I got saved, I told her the next morning, because I got saved in my living room. And when I told her the next day, she didn't seem to be shocked or surprised and didn't say anything. So it's almost like she knew that I was going to be saved. It's just like the Terminator movie. I mean, that guy was coming into the world to save humanity, and the Terminator robot was sent to destroy that man, that human. So it's interesting that that's what these psychopaths seem to be doing. They are here to destroy God's people. So I've written here, and this one still stands, being a psychopath. I wrote on here, the Terminator was made to destroy humans. Its mission is to steal, kill, and destroy, and it will not stop. The only way to stop a psychopath is to kill it. Okay, that's the only way you can stop them. This image is a guy who wakes up and finds out that he's sleeping with a robot. And that's, again, very much how I felt. I mean, my wife did not seem human. And also, let me add that they seem to be born that way, because my children are the same way. My children are, I homeschooled my children. I spent lots of time with them, taught them to surf and sail. We did so many outdoor activities together, camping, all kind of stuff, and I taught them everything they know. I mean, I was their teacher. I taught them how to read. I taught them everything. My daughter's in medical school right now, but I taught them everything, literally everything, and yet, even after all of that, I have no connection with them. There's no connection, there's no bond, and I've always noticed that. And so it's clearly something that they're born with. Okay, and I wrote on here that she's a robot with no human soul, and I agree with that. Now, these last two pictures are psychopaths who murdered their husbands. Asian, these are Asian women. One's Chinese and one's Filipino. I think, yeah, Filipino. And you just look at the difference. Now I understand these are their I forget what they call those photos when they got arrested. You know, but nevertheless, I can't remember what those photos are called, but anyway, when they got arrested, but nevertheless, it does show them, you know, I know people aren't in a good mood when they're arrested. I mean, I get that, you know, it's not like you're at Disney World. You're not going to take a nice picture when you're under arrest. But nevertheless, I believe that these pictures display what they really are with the mask off. Okay, I have two pictures of each. I have one where they're with their husband before they killed him, and where they have a smile on their face and everything. And notice the poor guy is totally duped. Like, you look at these men and they're totally duped. Okay, they're genuinely happy, but the women are just faking. And then when you see their arrest photos, you see them for what they really are, which is a callous person with no human emotion. And you can tell from the photos that there's no remorse. No remorse at all. But when they're in the limelight, I'm sure when they're in the courtroom and stuff, they will probably display remorse. They will probably display emotions, but it's false. Okay, so here's one picture. This lady here, her family is actually wealthy. Her family paid, and friends of her family, they paid $65 million to the state of California for her bail. And that case is ongoing right now. It's in the courts right now as we speak. This other one, she's a Filipino lady. I'll just give you that one first. Very happy, duping that poor naive guy. And then this is her arrest photo. Okay. And these psychopaths are very cunning. This particular woman, she practically got away with it. I mean, she didn't... I think she's sent to prison, but she got a very, most likely it was first-degree murder. But she got like manslaughter or something. Why? Well, because she... a psychopath will do things in such a way that everything they do is deniable. I mean, they're not stupid. They're very, very intelligent. And they may seem stupid, but they're not. They may play stupid, but they're not. What this particular woman did was she, again, I'm just guessing, I'm not an expert on the case, but I wouldn't be surprised if she set the guy up for a quarrel, okay? My wife did the same thing, actually. She tried to get me to hit her. She tried to make me mad, very subtly. She always played the victim, and all the abuse that she ever did to me was deniable. She was always telling me I'm crazy, I'm seeing things, but she tried to get me to hit her. She tried to get me to be violent. Psychopaths have no fear. They're not afraid of you. They're not afraid of men, even a little woman. They're not afraid of you. And I believe that this woman did the same thing to her husband. So what she did was they had a big quarrel, and the guy hit her. And then, she just so happened to have a loaded pistol in the same room where he supposedly hit her, and she turned around and pulled the gun and shot him dead. Okay, now if a man did that to a woman, that would be for whatever. They would probably say first-degree murder. He's going to prison for forever. But because she's a cute Asian woman, okay, these psychopaths are very, very dangerous. Because she's so cute, she wouldn't have hurt her husband. She wouldn't have murdered her husband. No, she'd never do such a thing. And so they ruled it manslaughter. But I would bet you that it was a setup. The guy was set up for the whole thing. He was pushed, he was prodded. Finally, let's say he hit her, and boom, she turned around and pulled a gun and shot him dead. Okay? There's a double standard in the courts. Women are always the victim in courts, and men are always the bad guy. Like I said, if that had been the other way around, that guy would have gotten no sympathy whatsoever. I mean, cops, you know, they can gun people down who have no weapons and all that. They can get away with that all day long. They get away with it every single day. But the average person, I mean, even if you're out on the street, you can't just pull a, like somebody punches you, you can't just pull a gun and shoot somebody dead. Okay, I mean, you can't, you know, that was the first act of violence that this guy ever supposedly did to this woman. It wasn't like he beat her all the time. She could have left the room. She could have left the house, gone to the neighbor to get help or something. You know, the cops don't, they usually don't let people just shoot you dead. Somebody comes at you with their fists and you come at them with a gun. You better have a good excuse for that to show how you thought your life was in danger. Because normally, you know, when it comes to men, the courts don't buy that. Okay? So, again, these psychopaths are very, very cunning. They're very, very evil. And they know how to milk the system. They're very, very seductive. And that's exactly how my wife was, and I'm so lucky to be alive. I personally believe that she had tried to poison me. When she left, I found a cooking pan, and just to give you an example, I found a cooking pan and I went to use that pan because it's one of those old-fashioned iron pans, and you kind of leave, when you cook something, you leave the oil on it and you just put it away, and when the next time you use it, you kind of wash it off a little just before you use it. So the cooking oil, supposedly oil, was on the pan that she had cooked. She had last used that pan to cook me something. And when I went to clean off the oil, that's the first time in my life I've never seen oil like that, where it was more like glue. Like I ruined the scrubby to get the oil off. It ruined my stainless steel scrubby pad. And I mean, it gummed it all up, and it looked like rubber cement. You know, the stuff that was coming off the pan. I mean, I scrubbed it literally for 2 hours to get the oil off. And it didn't even come off. It wasn't even like water. It wasn't even water soluble. The oil, supposedly the oil, it did not dissolve and go down the drain. I had to scrape it, and it came off. I had to scrape it into a ball, and then just take the ball and put it in the trash. It literally was just like dried rubber cement. And so I believe that she was putting something in my food. Just before she left the last time, she made, again, left without any notice. She cooked me egg rolls. Not egg rolls. They're like, I forget what she called it. I forget what it's something like an egg roll, but it's not as greasy. Spring roll, yeah. She made me some spring rolls, and when I asked, because normally I'm not allowed to eat all of them. She'll tell me, don't eat them all. Some are for my son Ben. Well, I was like, how many of these can I eat? And she said, oh, they're all yours. And I was like, wow, that's a first. So she had this container full of spring rolls, and she told me they were all for me. And she told my son, evidently, oh, those are for Dad. And she left the very next day. So I find that suspicious that that's the pan that she used to make those spring rolls. So very dangerous creatures, and they are not human. I have yet to figure out really what they are, but they lack human emotions, and they can pretend, just like her smiling. They can pretend, but their emotions are fake. So that's all I have for you for now, and I hope this video can save someone, especially men who are planning to marry Asian women. I need to make a video about that to warn people, but because Asian women, I feel, are very high rate of psychopath among Asian women, and so they're very dangerous. So that's all I have for you for now. Bye. Have a good day. Bye.